We just finished the Gladiator Masters class, 16 hours. Guys, I'd like to introduce you to Dariush Soudi, and obviously you all know Karan Trahan. And of course, the co-host Omer.
I salute you.
You know,
That was a crazy weekend.
it was interesting because
Was it crazy or interesting?
I
Interesting.
find it
Interesting
interesting.
is like, how do you find it interesting?
Well, I mean, I think you always go on about the weird British way I describe stuff, but I say interesting because I have seen so many ads and so many people talk about come to my course and you'll do this and this and this, and I think this region's rife with somebody goes up there and they're clearly reading a playbook and I'm like, okay, but where's the practical application of this? And it's like, no, but you get a certificate. And this was different. It was, no, you can apply it in this situation. You can use it like this, do it like with real examples. That was the first time I've seen anything like this in the Middle East. I don't know about you.
So how can I turn interesting into wow for you?
Oh, well, that's a nice way of putting it. How can I turn it interesting into wow?
I mean,
Where did I fail so I can learn next time to make interesting into the most amazing experience you've ever had outside your...
I would say
relationship.
something I was looking at the way that you spoke particularly is you have got a very good NLP way of talking to people. You were doing some things and you're exhibiting actions of a more advanced way of communicating. And I was really interested in that aspect of it. But you've got to tailor your session for the wider audience. But and that's part of what I'm going to be talking about, like how you look at life. Where did you learn to do this? Was this something inbuilt with you? Like, is this something you were just born doing, or like you've studied NLP?
I actually have no idea what NLP is.
Really?
Really, really don't. All I know is that if you mirror match people, they like you. And also, I think I had a weak personality. So the reason I say that, because I realize when I'm sitting in front of someone, they're nodding, I automatically nod. And if they are talking slowly, I'll automatically speak slowly. Or I find myself repeating some of the words that they use in a conversation, in a later on conversation with somebody else. So I was thinking, God, I must be really weak because I allow these personalities to change mine. Then I realized that's actually a strength. And then later on I found out that's similarities to NLP. But literally everything that I do is personal experience.
Interesting. So from what age would you say this has been?
I would think
you've been aware of this.
I started thinking about personal development in my mid-30s because I was a very angry young man, and everybody around me were idiots. And then I realized the common denominator is me, right? Not everybody's an idiot. So, and my ex-wife introduced me to personal development. And the more I read, the more I realized I knew nothing. So I'm actually a stupid guy who started very late. I just had awareness that I'm the idiot in the room. And I'm actually writing a book called Monkey Business.
Are you really?
Yes.
I'm writing a book with the word monkey in the title too.
No, you're joking.
because are you mirroring him?
Yeah, he's love buying. He's like, I like you.
Mine's,
I like
monkey
you.
communication for the non-corporate world.
Well, mine is monkey business because any monkey following certain rules can be successful in business, right?
Nice.
Amazing.
Dariush, just for our audience who have not met you yet or might not know who you are, give us your elevator pitch
Oh, that's nice. From the master.
from the master.
Yeah, my elevator is very simple. You know, I sell aspirin.
Nice.
And what you get in response is, well, what do you mean you sell aspirin? I said,
Yeah.
I find your business headache and I fix it.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I fix headaches in business, and often, and being, again, dyslexic, being not very smart, I tend to simplify things. So when people complicate to justify what they're doing, I simplify to earn money.
Yeah.
So I just make things very basic and very simple, and I don't complicate it. I'm not educated, so I don't use fancy words. And because I'm stupid, one thing I do is to make a lot of mistakes. At the same time, I'm not stupid enough to keep repeating them. So I memorize the mistakes, and I teach people not to make the same stupid mistakes as I did.
Yeah.
Which cost me over $100 million. 2 heart attacks, 1 failed marriage, and I don't wish that on anybody. I don't wish that pain on anyone.
Can you give us a little bit more background on lost $100
Which
million,
one?
heart
Which
attack?
That's a lot. It doesn't
Like obviously over the last 2 days we've heard a lot of stories
I
from
can
you,
throw
but they're so interesting.
more in the pot if you wish.
Please go ahead.
I'm going to share with them the Muhammad Ali story, right?
That's an amazing story. Listen to this.
Just nothing, just a poor family that brought up in a family where my mum had a lot of pain, lots of sadness in her life, and it was all about be careful, don't do this, don't do that, the world's going to end. And I just knew something wasn't right. My life's not about worrying and not taking risks. So somewhere along the way, I lost my father when I was very young, and I thought maybe it's my dad's DNA that makes me so positive. But one thing my mum taught me was like, why can't you be rich? We're poor. They're better than us, but why can't we be like them? So I was brought up to find that, to ask, how can I? And I think it's really important for people, just don't accept, don't envy rich people, call them lucky, call them this. You can do it, and just find out how they did it and just copy them. So I did quite well in sales because I'm not educated. And I realized just sheer hard work and a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Tenacity, thank you so much. See, I like him so much. Tenacity, hard work, and being aware of the opposite person sitting in front of you. Instead of thinking about my own situation, my needs, my wants, put myself in their shoes. And when you can read the fears and share it with them, they automatically like you and they'll buy from you.
Yeah.
So I kind of realized that most people are trying to force something upon someone, but if somebody likes and trusts you, they will ask for your services.
So I have a question on that. Exactly the thing you've touched on. So you've clearly had this life experience that's brought you to this place where you've made these conclusions. Why do you think other people aren't having that same moment where they're doing that self-examination just naturally on their own and be like, yo, maybe this isn't working for me the way I'm doing life. Maybe I should try a different approach. And the resistance, even if somebody comes onto your course, it's quite evident some people are resistant to these change. Why do you think that is? Why aren't people going out for themselves and finding this answer? And even they're paying for a course and still being hesitant.
Crazy, isn't it?
I just don't understand it.
First of all, human beings never surprise me. Do you want to answer?
Correct. I would. It's a great question. I think we're all. What we talked about on the course is that we are the center of, or the average of the 5 people that we're with, right? And unless we go beyond that to have a new way of thinking, we can never expand the mind, which is the truth. You mentioned that you were at first skeptical of coming on the course.
Any course, right? That's the
thing,
thing, because there's just so much charlatans.
Because especially these days, especially with all the digital marketing and online courses and $1,000 for this, $10,000, $20,000, and there's so many so-called gurus who start popping up. It's natural for someone to be skeptical initially, right?
We've been programmed that way,
yes.
Right? From school, from education, teachers, universities, colleges. We're told to get that certificate. We're told that you will never amount to much if you don't achieve the grades. And grades are what? Memorization, right? But how many life practical skills do we actually get?
Yeah.
And certainly education, the traditional education doesn't provide that. And this is something that we are extremely passionate about, because I wish those answers were there for me even 10 years ago. I could have saved years off my life had I known
this. How did you guys meet, by the way?
That's an interesting question.
Can I go back to the previous
The
question?
Muhammad Ali.
No. The question you asked, Karan, about why do people pay and they resist?
Yeah.
I think it's their conditioning. Okay, and I think it's they make a statement about themselves, like I'm highly educated.
So in a group scenario, they try and show the other.
No, just generally speaking, I'm a perfectionist.
Got it.
Okay, now they make a statement about themselves and they die proving that statement. So whether they're by themselves, they could be educated, professors of something and have zero in their bank account. And they'll sink with the ship, yes, saying that being a professor is the best thing since sliced bread. Or being a perfectionist is the perfect thing to do. But the fact is that perfectionists are never happy.
Yes.
It's the lowest standard because nothing ever runs perfect. There's never a perfect time, there's never a perfect moment, there's never a perfect business. So they give themselves labels and they fight it to death.
Yeah.
Not enough people. And what you find is most of our Gladiators Mastery courses have women attendees. They by far are the majority of attendees than men.
Interesting.
Why do you think that is?
I remember you saying the answer to this in our 2-day course. So
You can't remember now. because it was an interesting course.
They have less ego and they're willing to learn.
Testosterone.
So I remember
It's that BS. You know, women make better stock traders than men because they stick to the rules. And when they get it wrong, they go, okay, I got it wrong, I'll just go back to the rules. But what men do is they position it and they stick to it. Even if market turns, it will turn because I made that decision.
Yeah.
That stock will turn. And they just lose everything.
I wonder how many men were nickel traders last week. Do you see what happened?
No.
Oh, it's wild. Do you guys follow the price of nickel?
Yes.
Oh my God, man. So if you were going to lose money or make money, you do you, man. It's your problem.
Yeah.
The market's got, when the banks started losing money, they closed the market.
That's great.
Yeah, imagine. Like, oh, we're not doing well. Turn off. Nobody trade.
I know Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. What he says.
He looks like me.
He invests.
I look like him. Some people ask me.
Really?
But yeah, he always says that he prefers investing in women. That like most of his investment portfolios, the success rates come from the women more than the men.
It's very true. So what you find, the ego doesn't blind them. They're more open to change. And because it's a man's world, women are prepared to work harder. Okay? So what I find is that although the bank account says zero, the ego says I'm worth billions. Right? And
Manifestation.
It's a shame. And what we find in our courses is that the people who resist most are the poorest people.
Oh, really?
The richer and most successful they are, the ones who take notes, who
Really?
yes.
That's wildly interesting.
Last 3 courses that I had in Dubai, there were billionaires in the room.
Oh, really?
And they were taking notes. They were just loving it. And the ones who had least amount of money, the ones who argue most.
And would be standing and would be, not taking notes and
Resisting,
Justifying.
What's the
challenging.
strangest
Justifying.
thing that's ever happened in one of these courses? Like, oh, wow, like there's unexpected and then that happened.
just to go back very quickly, I think the when you mentioned about the richest who take notes, you see, the rich also look at changing that 1%. They want to look at small things to position themselves in a better way, and they're open to learning. And there's no what's the word?
Nothing to prove.
Yeah.
You know, like you see these little guys who can't, or these big guys who can't fight to save their life, yes? And they walk around like they own the place, yes? And you hit them, they go down. And you get this guy who's a black belt in 7 martial arts, MMA, for jiu-jitsu, whatever, and they're the nicest down-to-earth people because they know they can kill you with one finger, right? So you find often the ones who pretend they got nothing. The ones who got nothing to prove, they're the richest and the most successful. So they're more grounded, they're more down-to-earth because they've got nothing to prove, they just want to grow, right? Yeah. And they know through learning, they got to where they are. And constant change.
So do you two both meditate every day or every week?
I meditate, yes. I meditate every 2 days.
2 days.
But I like my me time. I do a lot of me time. I'm not sure if I'm meditating, but I'm in a place of silence, stillness, and solitude.
Interesting. Have you ever found, because I really related to a lot of the things you were talking about, how about focusing on happiness and joy, and I know on this podcast I come across as a hippie a lot because I do believe in this stuff. But have you ever found, either of you, and you included, that going too far down this line has led you to a path of nihilism, where you examine, you can't, well, for me at least, you can't just take one view and say, that's what's up. You try to push yourself and check the reasoning. And then I found for many years, I went down a nihilistic path. Did that happen to anyone else here?
I'll let you.
Yeah. I had a really good answer until I looked at you. What the answer was. Okay, I think if you really care, if you really, really care about other people and their behavior, you're going to be very depressed. because it's incredible. No matter how many times I meet different people, they never cease to surprise me. And what really saddens me is that most human beings don't live to their full potential. Also, life is hard. Happiness is a choice. Right? So when I woke up this morning, I traveled from a different country only a short time ago, my back was killing me. It would have been so easy not to run the 9 hours of today. Yes? So I did 10 minutes of painful yoga in my room. Yes? But I just chose to come here and have a smile on my face. Because it's a choice.
Yeah.
When people see you smiling and calling you a hippie, they think you're just born that way. True?
Yeah,
and what happens? Because you smile in your face, they resent you.
Yeah.
And you don't even know why people resent you, because it actually highlights something they don't like about themselves.
Yeah, he tells me it's because of my British accent.
Because he's jealous, that's why. He hates the fact that he wants to have an accent like this. So what I'm trying to
I'm
say
always
is...
smiling. I'm telling him to smile more.
Yeah, you're actually always smiling. It's a beautiful smile. The point is that happiness is a choice in a very hard world, very tough world. The world is tough,
Yes.
right? It's what you make of it.
Yes.
And the more problems you solve, the richer you get. Now, richer doesn't necessarily mean money. Money is energy. Richer means richer in happiness, in love, in joy, in health, in passion. Yeah, so abundance comes in different ways. It's not all about money. At the same time, we're money educators, right? Because if you're a good person and you have no money, you're depressed, right? If you're a good person and you have some money and you have just one choice in life, it feels like a prison. More money gives you more choices, and the more choices you have, you feel more free.
And you can help more people.
If you want to do that, right? Because to get successful, and the funny thing is most people are great people. Most people help most people. It's just that poor people resent them because they don't have anything. They say, money is the root of all evil and rich people are bad people and all this, because you don't have any.
And there was a woman on the course.
A lady.
There was a lovely lady on the course who
Her
had
name
those.
was, no, I'm just kidding.
She had those barriers with money, and she had those obstacles in her head, and conditioning is exactly what Dariush was mentioning earlier. She had conditioning and wanted to separate herself from money, and she wanted to help people, but she said she thought you couldn't do both. You couldn't help her students and make money because she had a negative connotation with money.
Money was a dirty
It
thing.
was a dirty thing, and that's how she grew up. And once she realized that through the course, she had an aha moment, right?
Yeah.
And I'm getting already tingles on myself or goosebumps that she said, wow, something has changed here. Something can happen when she realized that her mission and purpose in life is to help people. With more money, she can help more people.
So it's the association and link she had.
Yes.
With money changed.
It's that natural thing, I think, that people come up, people only care about money, they don't care about people anymore.
Yes, I
There's
think
more
it's
to
what you
life
said.
than
You know
money.
You know what they
and
say? As soon as you talk
hear
about money,
these-
that means
hear
you've lost
these a
your
lot.
values. Right? Just because you're money hungry, you lost your values.
Yeah.
What the hell? You can have all your values, just enhances them.
Exactly.
Yes, you're a bad person, you're a good person. That money doesn't change you.
Yeah. Speaking of being a bad person or good person, so we all broadly have, well, to some extent, grown up in the UK, and at different time periods. And you were
My
talking about.
condolences to you all.
So I think particularly over here, where a lot of our audiences are spread around, but over here,
When you say spread around, what do you mean? The horizontal or
spread around the world.
Oh, I see.
So, but for the people watching in the Gulf, it is very hard to imagine a different style of growing up than how it is here. Here it's very comfortable on the whole. It's very nice on the whole. But if you're willing, I was hoping you guys could share some stories about what it was like for you growing up. Because it was wild. The stories I know are pretty wildly different, and I know what I experienced.
What did you experience?
Well, I'd like to hear your stories.
I
I know
wanna
my
hear yours
stories. My
first.
stories are boring. I know
So
yours.
which part of experience? Your childhood experience or?
Whatever you.
Growing
In the UK.
up in the
just-
UK.
I
yeah,
hated every
high-
second.
High school.
I hated every second.
Yeah.
I didn't speak a word of English. Arrived when I was 12. I remember I loved London, and it was cosmopolitan, and we lived there for a year. When we came to north of England, I was the only foreign kid at that school. So I had my ass kicked every single day. I think we had a student today who's lived in England as well. And he said it was very violent. Every street corner, we didn't know what bullying was in Iran. Yes, I never heard of bullying, really didn't. And I was subjected to bullying. I was called nigger, wog. I didn't know what wog was. My teacher used to call me Black Cherry.
Oh my, the teacher.
My teacher was Black Cherry. And then when I was playing rugby, I was quite good at sports. He used to play in the opposite rugby team. I'm 13 years old, and he used to beat me. What? So whenever I see him coming towards me to tackle me, I'll just throw the ball and say, then he'll hit me. So he was
institutional.
So it's so hard to picture, like life was just a short time ago.
It wasn't that short, 1970.
It's pretty short, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty short. I consider that a short period of time. Have you ever been back?
I only left 10, 12 years ago. Now what happens is that not by religion, but just choice, I didn't drink. Being in the sales industry, by nature, everybody goes to the pub in England. And Friday evening, they go, I want to go home to my family. So I never fitted in. So I always realized I never fit in because it's a drinking culture. You know, and when you don't drink, you don't fit in.
Yeah.
I didn't find pubs and smoky out. I didn't smoke. I was a sportsman. So I never fitted in. It's not like they didn't want me in. I'm sure if I went drinking and smoking, I would have been welcome. I just never fitted in. And when I came to Dubai or the Middle East, I could never go back to Iran because, in my opinion, it's gone back 250 years, right? So I've been too westernized. At the same time, I'm still Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
So I felt Dubai, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, all these areas, they're kind of a bit of both. There's law and order. There's some kind of systems. At the same time, they speak English, yes? And, I couldn't even go and buy bread in Iran or queue for 3 hours for petrol. It's just not in my system, yeah? So I like queuing, yes, which is what the English do here. When somebody goes, I want to fight everyone. So the opportunity is if you can do really well in the Middle East, in my opinion.
100%.
If you do things with urgency, you're a person of your word, because majority of the perception is when the expats come here, earn as much money and run.
Yep.
Okay, but if you're here and you really want to make a name for yourself, you're honorable, you stick to your values, and you deliver on time, you could do really well. Unfortunately, your standard doesn't have to be that high. So a lot of mediocrities come here and they do very well.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you come here and you do world standard? You could be super successful. That's my opinion.
I fully agree, 100%. And I resonate with that so much, growing up in the UK as well. And on the last podcast, I talked to you about how I wanted to leave as quickly as possible. And how I came out here and I realized that the bar was quite low compared to what it should be. And a lot of people got used to that, right? The bar is lower, so we all get used to that.
Do you find your bar going down with it? Your standards
you can do if you
to the level.
Well, complacency can creep in, right? And that's what I think happens. There are successful people that do come out as well, and the standard does go down, and then to fight out of that is tough. And
because it's a lonely place.
It is.
Yeah, you're the only one who wants the standard, and the whole society around you say, "Are you crazy?" Yeah, so just to get peace, you drop your standards.
I'll tell you a quick story from London. I used to recruit lawyers for international law firms in the city. And there was a story of a magic circle firm where a lawyer missed his mother's funeral because he was working. And he had done 8 days in the office.
So
slept in the office.
Is like the top. Like
the cream off.
Is that what Magic Circle is? Is that law
sorry,
thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Top
a bunch
UK.
of magicians.
Sorry, yeah.
It's the top 10.
It's a top like global UK law firms.
Yeah.
And
if you're in there, like, money is not your problem anymore. Being a decent human being is your problem.
But that was giving you an example. That was the extent. So that person spent 8 days in the office. Others would very normally, I would leave the city. I'd be leaving sometimes at midnight, the office, and there were cars outside, a lot of other people leaving, right? And then over here, it's just not that kind of culture. So people get used to that. So when you do work over and beyond, it's quite abnormal. And that's what I think Dariush was mentioning. It gets lonely because you're the only one working, and then you have to be your own greatest motivator, right? So
no, that's actually why I left law. I tried so many different areas of law. I've probably told you this story too many times. You'll cry with boredom. But I would always try an area of law, and then I'd look at the top of that area. Because when you qualify in England, whatever you qualify in, that's you for the rest of your life. So I tried all these areas, and I looked at the partners. What's their quality of life? Are they happy? How is their family life? What's their work-life balance? Money? You take in the whole mix. Say, if this is the best it can be, is that what I'm looking for? So I kept saying no, 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 no. And having tried many, the last one I fished, it was in corporate law. And one weekend, I think we had worked every weekend for like the whole month. And the partner, he was a fairly young guy. He wasn't partner yet, but he was about to make partner. And it was the kind of firm you're talking about, one of the big ones. And he just turned around and cried. I was like, what's wrong? Like, okay, work's going well. He's like, no, but my wife has just given birth to our second baby. So I've got this choice. Do I work this weekend and make partner, or go home and keep my marriage? And that day I decided, I don't want that decision in my life.
That's
I
a
can't
tough
find
choice.
an area in law that I like.
Depends on your marriage, though.
That's true as well.
All right, so something I love collecting from people is the most unusual thing that's ever happened.
Like
to
a
you.
watch or something. It's like every time
Pokemon
I
cards.
pick up a ring or a watch. That's one of my collectibles. Yeah.
Polos.
Stories. I
Oh,
love
that's that.
stories.
Ooh, that's free.
Yeah, I love collecting stories. So what's the most unusual thing that's ever happened to yourselves?
Unusual in what?
Whatever way you take that.
Wow. Unusual.
Yeah. Sandy's got some crazy stories as well.
I mean, there's probably so many. I probably need a bit of time to think exactly what was.
So you want me to answer the
It-
question?
it-
What I'm
well,
thinking,
it's
is that
farming
what
it
it
up
is?
to you.
Yeah.
And I think
I
in-
heard that before. Great story. Let me think about it for about half an hour.
No, let me think.
Anything to say?
I think Dariush got like 10 on fire. You're ready
I have
to go.
100.
I think Gladiator Mastery is unusual. Unusual in a great way. It was. I never was educated, or I never thought I would go into this. I use education there again, but I don't know what I never went thinking I was going to go down this
It's
path.
life education, isn't
Right?
it? It's not
Yeah.
education, it's life education.
I didn't think I was good. Did you? Did you feel that you were going to
Yes,
go from
actually,
a
yes.
very young age?
No, from young.
Right. Right.
I was hoping for something funny.
Unusual. Yeah.
He's depressing me now. I feel like old, yeah.
All right.
Let's
Restart
stop that
this.
question
Yeah,
completely.
restart this.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, go on.
Sorry,
You'll
we're
answer.
going
it.
to edit a bunch anyway.
No, don't know. That was quite good. It's just real, isn't
natural.
it? It's natural.
So,
Let's
Hussain, wanna
keep
share
it
a
in.
weird
Let's
story?
keep it in.
A weird story.
I'll share a story.
you got one?
Nobody's gonna ask me.
Okay.
I said, I have 100. I have 100. You went out, you start asking him what's this.
I put you on the spot quick. I was like, I'll put him on the
No,
spot.
I like that. I was just
Okay.
putting him on the stop, saying, okay, let's squeeze him a bit more. Feeling this sweat running down his head. Yeah, like, hey, do you have anything else to say?
I know which story you're going to say.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. That's an incredible story.
Yeah, because miracles do happen. You heard my Ferrari story, right?
Yes.
But I got a Ferrari for
Yeah,
free. That's a miracle,
The,
right?
the audience hasn't heard it though.
Well, I got a
Oh,
better
the
one.
other
though.
one. You gave a teaser to it.
got a better
earlier.
one than
Muhammad
that.
Ali.
The Muhammad Ali.
When I had a heart attack, I went to one of my homes in Spain and I took a sabbatical. So I meditated what made me happy, why my life is so miserable and on so much stress and I'm not happy in England. So I made certain decisions. One was to come to Dubai. One was to only work with kids because adults let you down, they screw you. If kids don't like you, they run away. If they like you, they hug you. So you know where you stand with them. And then blah, 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 blah. And then I was going to live with my kids again. I was going to come to Dubai. And one was to meet Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
Why Muhammad Ali? Because he's the only link I have to my father, because my father died when I was 3.5, 4 years old. But he used to get me up at silly o'clock to watch Ali fights on black and white screens. So I remember sitting on his lap. That's all I remembered. So I kind of followed Muhammad Ali's career through his boxing, through his disability, through his health issues, through a peacemaker, through a black man in a white America, anti-war. He was just one of the greatest human beings ever. And he had, of course, his faults, and he was a womanizer. Of course, everybody has faults.
No,
But
it's perfect.
to me, he was my hero. He didn't know who the hell I was, okay? And just thought, I wrote it on my goals. So came to Dubai, achieved all my goals, apart from, we actually opened up an orphanage in Thailand. We have 250 kids
Which
in
part of Thailand?
Phuket.
Really?
Yes. We lived there for 3 years. And so all those boxes got ticked. And then, but the one that didn't get ticked was Muhammad Ali. He was alive at the time. So for about I went online and I noticed he had a center called the Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville, Kentucky. And all they did was help children find the greatness within, because he was the greatest, right? And I thought, this is perfect. You know, Dubai, there's buildings and amazing. I'll just connect with Muhammad Ali. I connect with Sheikh Mohammed, marry the two. I get to meet my hero and I do some good.
Yeah.
And things like diabetes and stuff is a huge problem in the Middle East because people aren't moving around as much and they're not eating healthy food. So I thought I can even contribute to children's world. So for about 2-3 years. Now, at the same time, this is how the universe brings everything together. At the same time, my business was just me. I was a business consultant and I was leading to another heart attack, working 7 days a week, delivering, because everybody pays you, they want blood, right? So I was growing, selling my time, working 24/7.
Is this the 3,500 time?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Maybe even 7,000, but still wasn't getting the lifestyle I wanted. And so I was thinking, for 3 years, I was asking the question that, how can I have a business but I'm not selling my time? And the answer wasn't coming. So my first advice is, keep asking the right question for a longer period of time, because the answer will eventually come. Don't ask once and then expect the universe to give it to you. So first lesson is keep going, asking the right question. And then the second one was like, how can I meet my hero? So when I found this center, I thought what I'll do is I'll meet one of these sheikhs somewhere, because previously, before Dubai grew, I was bumping to the ruler quite regularly when I was on holiday and stuff. So I came and it wasn't so easy to bump in. Dubai had changed. So I met loads of junior sheikhs and leaders and His Excellencies and Highnesses, and everybody said no. In this particular case, 3 years later, I met a junior sheikh. And I did the most amazing presentation. By that time, I had a musical presentation. I did the most incredible presentation. And I turned and I said, what do you think? And he said, it's never going to work. And I was gutted because he was the highest level I pitched. So I got home totally devastated. He said, people who do rock climbing, skydiving, yes, but nobody's interested in an old boxer. So, okay, so I phoned one of my friends. I said, listen, I'm desperate here. I'm going to quit. He says, have you heard of this thing called Facebook? I said, yeah, I have a Facebook profile. He said, why don't you stick something up? I said, okay, I'll call it Muhammad Ali Center UAE. And I put up a page. I said, what do you want me to do with it? He goes, just write a letter and send it out to people, see if you get any support. So I teach this, and this is why I teach it. I said, write a heartfelt letter. When you send out a letter to your clients, with anyone you want action, don't write it from the head, write it from the heart, and share your vulnerability, because once you write from the heart, it gets to the heart. So I wrote this letter to my 0 followers saying, if 50 of you support me in the morning, this is my dream. And then I told them the story in this letter, my father, my goals, Muhammad Ali, greatest sportsman, human being, blah, blah. And I said, if 50 of you support me in the morning, I will continue my dream. So I posted it to my friends, send them to, and I had like 60 friends, asking them to go to this page. Woke up in the morning, I had over 1,000 followers.
Oh, hey, man.
In about a week, I had over 40,000 followers. My letter went viral.
Organic.
Incredible.
Within 2 weeks, I'm driving down Sheikh Zayed Road. I get a call, an American voice saying, can it be available at 9 o'clock tonight? So I get excited. I have no idea what's happening. We're sitting around the table, 9 o'clock. His family sitting there, and dead on 9 o'clock, the phone rings. Pick it up. Who is it? Muhammad Ali's wife.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Muhammad's heard about your campaign. He wants to meet you.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So by that time, I had 60,000 followers. I didn't have the money. I borrowed money, took loads of flights to go to the States. I turned up, and by that time, I had like maybe 80,000 followers in like two and a bit weeks, you know. And I'm sitting there like, I woke up like 4 a.m. outside the center, waiting to him, and my meeting was like midday. Yes. Well, what do I do? What do I say? What do I do? So I sat in this coffee shop in this miserable place in Louisville, Kentucky, and then I realized how selfish I am, because it was because of my followers I'm here, and I hadn't posted since that letter, right? So I just took a picture of the I think it was a menu and the board pointing to Muhammad Ali Center, posted it, and within half an hour, 7,000 people replied.
Wow.
And I was addicted because, you know, boom, 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 and I'm like, reply. I was like, then it came to me that I could actually run a social media company.
Oh, really? That was the moment.
That was the moment.
Gonna ask that.
So I picked up a handkerchief and I thought, you know what, I've got 30 odd clients. How much do they pay the T-boy? 2,000 dirhams? So I said, what I'll do is I'll just post on Facebook for them, but 2,000 dirhams. They can't say no. So on the back of a handkerchief, I wrote a business plan.
Which year was this?
No idea. 2011?
Okay.
2011, 12, something like this. And then came back and signed 25 clients. Right? So suddenly earned 50 immediately. By the end of the year, we had 100. By 2 years, we had 300 social media clients.
How many staff members does it take to service
There was
300 clients?
great question. My wife, myself, and my son.
No way.
I swear, we were up till 3 in the morning because at that time there weren't so many platforms, right? It was just Facebook, really. Yeah. So, but we were up till 3 in the morning posting, and we were having to keep ourselves awake. We were having competitions who got the most amount of likes the day before. It was crazy times, but then because we couldn't afford it, right? We couldn't have an office license and stuff like this. So we became a social media company. And then people came and said, we love what you do. Can you do a website? And I'd take their money. Then I'll find out how the hell to build a website, right? Googling
Always
it.
take the money first,
Take the
right?
money
Then figure
first.
it out
Yeah,
later.
you know you got to deliver. So, and then we did really good websites. And people came and said,
SEO.
we can't find your website. So I said, oh, I'll take your money. You need SEO. And then they came back and said, well, we still can't find it. I said, yeah, because you need Google advertising. Okay. Now we have one of the biggest Google advertising agencies in the MENA region, top 3% Google partners. Then we realized there was no consistency when it came. A lot of our clients were in the F&B business. They didn't have consistency. So we had a recruitment company and then a training business. On the back of that, we opened up an F&B business where we build restaurants and we have chefs working for us. So all of that started from that Muhammad Ali page.
And you actually met Muhammad Ali?
Absolutely not.
You did what?
He never showed
What
up.
happened?
He never showed up.
Oh, no.
No. So I turned up, but you got to take a positive out of it, right?
So you got a new life out of it?
He never showed up. He took a deal for $50,000 and did a talk in New York. So they sent me some junior communication manager to take me around the center. Yeah, they didn't give it up. And you know, the sad part, of course, I benefited so much from this experience, but the sad part was that Muhammad Ali I didn't realize he sold his name to a marketing company at that time. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So nobody could, his brand was sold already for a few $1 million. I think 80% of it. And the family owned the 20%. So he sold his brand before he was done. And then he was just another old boxer being shoved around in his wheelchair and being dinner nights. And so it's really heartbreaking. And I went to the center and half the equipment wasn't working. And I spoke to people in Louisville because I had time in my hand. And they resented Muhammad Ali Center because they thought that Muhammad Ali left, and he did. He went to train in Miami. And they felt that the council was paying for the Ali Center. But it wasn't. It was the foundation. So there was just a lot of misinformation. And the funny thing was, one of the people who put $1 million into the Muhammad Ali Center was Sheikh Mohammed of Dubai.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that interesting?
You know, there's a lot of stories like that are wild. Like, I'm going to think about that one for a long time, like collecting these. Have you heard the Michael Jackson stories about Bahrain? He has unreleased music that lives in Bahrain only. If you're friends with the right person, you can hear never been heard before music.
He used to live here, didn't he?
He did. His brother still lives here.
Which one?
I don't know.
His sister married someone in Bahrain.
I don't know.
Qatar.
I've hit my limit of Michael Jackson.
Janet Jackson married somebody.
Yeah,
in
so.
this region.
Yeah, but yeah, I think there's a brother
Yeah,
here.
but unfortunately, it ended up badly, didn't it? They sued each other at the end.
I don't know. I don't really follow celebrities, but I know there's a bunch of his unreleased music on island.
The question is it the music you want to hear?
Yeah, friends with the right person. Hopefully one day I'll hear it.
Interesting.
Yeah, Ali was a huge inspiration for me as well.
Oh, really?
Massive inspiration. And just his champion way to win. And he was a great guy. Like you say, his
Couldn't read
faults.
or write. Did you know
Yeah.
that? He couldn't read or write.
No, I didn't know.
But he wrote poems left, right, and so he
Spoke.
Spoke.
Some
Can
of
you
them.
can you imagine he used to dance the way he could dodge punches?
Feet.
Because his brothers used to throw stones and he used to dodge it.
Really?
Yeah.
in a hallway, which you couldn't move much, and he used to throw stones at him. Yeah.
By his choice,
As
or
like
that's
training?
just
No,
That's
he used to
training?
say throw stones.
Training.
Yeah, training. Yeah, in a tight alleyway.
and
Interesting.
and his
Diversity,
and his
right?
relentless desire to win. and to keep pushing boundaries, and the underdog as well. Just the underdog story when people write him off and he would come
when
back.
he refused to fight in the Vietnam War, they took his license away for 3 years at the peak of his career. He lost all his money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he stuck to his principles. Who does that?
Yeah.
The peak of their life. And when he came back, he was still the greatest, but he wasn't as good as before he left. At the peak of your life, you have your belt taken away, and they said, right, if you don't obey by our rules, you earn nothing. And he said, I earn nothing. And they call him a coward. And he gets on the ring with 6'6" people who he beats the crap out of, and they call him a coward American. Can you believe it? You get in the ring with George Foreman.
Yeah.
And call him a coward. Yeah. Incredible. And the funny thing is, he is one of the first people on earth who predicted his success. So he'll say, I'll win in this round. I'm going to be the greatest. He actually said, I knew it. Yes.
Yeah.
And he got
it.
That's what's up.
Yes. He visualized everything before he got it.
He manifested.
Can you imagine the mental power before everybody knew about personal development?
And
Like-
then he
like
had to
Conor
carry it
McGregor
through,
recently.
right? He had to convince. So he's going against the number one, right, in the world at the time as a challenger, or if it was, he said, I'm going to drop it. I'm going to KO him
Did he
in
do
3
this
rounds.
every time?
Until later on, yeah.
That's really interesting. So the
Yeah.
first few people would have been like, whatever. The third person like, oh my God.
No, he did it like 10, 20 times
But then it's
before.
conviction, isn't it? Because, you know, he couldn't fail. Because when you put that,
Well, here's the thing, right? Apart from that, can you imagine that you're his opponent
That's what I'm
and
saying.
the 4th round's coming?
Yeah.
So you're already giving up. Does that make sense?
That's the mental
that's the
warfare.
mental
Mental
side of
warfare.
it.
Because they say when Tiger Woods was at his best, when he walked on the green, the competition quit. That's
right.
Just the way he walked on the green. You with me?
Yeah.
So it's the way you carry yourself. Your competitors change.
and everyone knew Tiger Woods is teeing off, and he's on the 18th, and they're like, oh no, they've already lost the game because he would march on, wouldn't he, onto the green.
Absolutely. And also, when everybody else was visualizing how they hit the first tee from the Hearst hole, Tiger Woods was visualizing winning it and working backwards. So he'll work for the last hole of the 18th, and he visualized how he got there.
Yeah.
Was everybody else was visualizing how they hit the first, second, third,
Yeah.
fourth, right? Incredible.
Yeah,
amazing.
you know, something you've touched on there is about success and milestones. I think from the amount that I've been exposed to other people's opinions on this, it often feels like people like just looking at the end picture. But it's the big picture, but it's a journey of milestones, and it's that working back. Okay, here's how I want my version of happiness, whatever that might be, and then work back from there. What are the things I need to do in an achievable way to get there, and then do that.
And also, no buts, also enjoy the journey. Because enjoyment is a habit. You're not going to get to your destination and go, I'm happy now. Yeah, because you practice being miserable.
Yes.
You practice being
Yes.
stressed. You practice being a worrier.
Yes.
So start enjoying the journey. Because the journey is the beautiful part, not the actual destination.
Yeah, I think if you are lucky enough to be surrounded with people who can help you be that person and help you, give you that space, not to judge you or to be like what
The
hell
average
is
of
wrong with
5.
you? Well, for me, it's the person I'm spending the most amount of time with,
Yeah.
the woman I'm about to marry, and it's just having that support from her and that vision from her that it's acceptable to be that person and explore different things, and whether it works out or not, and just you've got the room to be that. That was really transformational for me.
You know, you're blessed. Well, you're blessed.
Completely.
But most of your listeners, or some of your listeners or viewers are watching us, they're thinking, I actually don't have anyone. So I've been there. Yes, and you make your peer group people you don't know. So at certain times you think, what would Gandhi do now? What would Mother Teresa do? What would Martin Luther King? What would Muhammad
You
Ali
get
do?
your answer, don't you?
What would Elvis do? What would Richard Branson do? What would Bill Gates do? And the answers are there. So you can have a visionary peer group.
Oh, that's
Right.
nice. Visionary.
Absolutely. What would they do if they were in my position? So don't ever feel lonely. And also, life's about seasons. So,
That's nice.
yeah, so if you may be going through a winter of your life, but what's coming next spring? Everything passes. Celebrate seasons.
Yes.
Because if everything's just spring all the time, how are you going to appreciate it?
Yes.
Unless you have your winters.
Yes.
And you said that
How
in
you gonna do-
2009, didn't you? You said this shall soon pass.
This sun shall pass. This soon shall pass.
When you first started saying
Let's say
this
it properly, right? This soon shall pass. This seashell shall sink.
What is it again?
When you first started saying this stuff, the people were like, what is going on with you? Or were they very
Do you know, the
receptive?
fact is nobody invests, nobody follows a loser. No one. And if your energy is desperation, nobody will spend any money time with you. And that's a sad factor. It's so easy to join someone. It's so easy to be a 999,000th follower when I already have 990,000 people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's those first ones that join your journey. It's these champions who come on board when you see something, an opportunity. Yes, that's how you become powerful. With those solid pillars behind you. People who take a bullet for you, people on the same mission. But unfortunately, it's very rare because nobody shares the vision at the beginning. It's a lot easier to join the masses, right?
Yeah.
And you feel foolish if you don't. But at the beginning, you feel foolish if you do.
Yes, I think that's often it's people need that narrative on how they're going to explain it to another person. That if you tell a joke in a group, you can see the relationships immediately by who's looking at who. So you know who they're going to need to justify whatever the thing is. They're going to need to justify it to somebody, and if they've got that narrative, and it's all very interesting stuff.
I just don't tell jokes.
So Dariush, your life started out in sales, right?
Yes.
Initially. Was that because it's the easiest job to get initially?
I knew that obviously I wasn't educated and I wasn't going to get a job in a company. And I always wanted the best. And it was the only thing that I could earn more money. And I wasn't selling my time. So if I was successful, the rewards could be higher, right? And my ex-wife was in the beauty business, and I saw an opportunity because I went to one of these beauty exhibitions, and I said, "What's your unique selling proposition?" And she went, "Smells good, and the box is very pretty." I was like, "There's an opportunity in this market, right, to do well." And we brought some glycolic acid peels and stuff like that, very corrective treatments because I'm all about results, and it did really well.
Yeah.
And then we opened up our health gloves and that really well. So again, coincidences, lucky people.
But would you say then that is what made you who you are today? I think sales is probably one of the most important skills for people to master, or would you disagree?
I think desperation. You just think, what is there to do? Nothing. I can't do anything else. Yeah. The funny thing was, what the truth is that when I got into personal development, wherever I went in the world, people I've never met in the course will come to me and say, "Thank you for being here." I'm like, "Who are you?" Yeah. And it's, what did I do? It says, "Oh, your energy. I like you being in this group." I was like, the most common denominator is that people are coming to me saying, "I like your energy." And I said, so maybe that's a gift of some kind, right? So maybe that's my purpose. And I always thought, why do I have so much pain? Because I had a very abusive childhood by my mum, and physical and mental. And I was thinking, why is this story so sad? Because I didn't deserve it. Children don't deserve some of the things they get in life. I didn't choose that life. How can I turn this misery into a blessing? And I thought, well, if people are liking my energy, maybe this pain, and the deeper the pain is, the greater the story.
Yeah.
Right? So if I can share my vulnerability with the public, a lot of people will resonate with it and they'll connect. And I can help them not to go through it.
Yeah.
So I think the pain, sales, meeting people, experience, having the right energy collectively made an interesting soup. Yes?
Yeah. And I think you have an antenna on you, that you're very sensitive in picking up signals.
Don't miss anything.
You don't miss anything. You're very observant, are able to watch the body language, the internal dialogue, which we talk about.
Readings?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what signals did you pick
Cold
up from
readings.
Omer?
Cold readings.
What does that mean?
It's
Cold reading?
Cold reading, yeah. It's basically when you look at a person and based on what you understand about body language and all the things that you understand.
I can't.
And you just
What
say
I
something.
can do, I can actually, after a while, through what they're saying, tell you.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not necessarily body language, because they can fake it.
Yeah.
But during these 2 days, I can tell you, I can probably to the next $100 tell you what's in the bank account.
What can you tell me about the person? Like, would you be able to say to me, like, this is what brought them up into life, this is what their character's like, what kind of stuff can you tell me?
The stuff that I'll share, if I had to share, it'd be very painful for the listener.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because-
After this, I'm going to ask questions. Tell me about him.
Well, I'm not going to share it in public. So, and I learned from a guy that I really respect. He's passed away now, and he said, "You know what? Don't share anything if nobody wants to listen to it."
That's good.
Right? So I don't freely tell people. It just saddens me that, like for instance, we go on some. They are an educated person, yes, and they earn nothing, and I'm educating them something that they could just turn that knowledge into power and they don't want to hear it. I say, please take notes, and they stand there with their arms crossed. What would it take to pick up a pen and write a note on a piece of paper? What is going through your mind that you're resisting picking up that frigging pen? Does that make sense?
Yep.
It doesn't cost you nothing. Pick up the pen.
Why do you think they don't?
You're living in denial. Living their bullshit. Yes, I am this, I am that, the conditioning. Have you ever met somebody who's been in the police force for a long time?
Yes.
And then they're retired and they can't talk about anything else but the police force?
Yes.
Because they're conditioned. Right?
That's like a lot of
Yeah.
professions as well.
Yes.
It's not just the
Nurses and stuff,
Yeah.
doctors. Yeah, they just can't. The society, the upbringing has just conditioned them to die at that profession. And it breaks my heart.
Yes.
Yes. And I want to smack that person. But because they're an attendee and they paid good money, I just got to smile and bear it. Yes. But unfortunately, those people take a lot of the energy of the room away because they're the ones who challenge you, and the other 30 people don't get as much of you because you're spending a lot of time trying to convert them, and you know they'll never convert.
Yes.
And you know what? They're going to be on their wheelchair, on their rocking chair, with regrets. When that
I
time
felt
comes,
that very much over the course of the weekend.
Yeah.
If you picked
You
up on it as
spotted,
well,
right? Yeah.
there
you
was
see
a-
it on day 2.
It's I don't know if they're just demanding that their opinion is heard. So I've come to a place to hear from someone else, but instead I'm going to resist that and enforce, here's my outlook on life that you haven't, other people here, paid for. But I'm going to tell you what's up.
they don't ask questions, they lecture.
Make statements.
Right? Like, the fact is they haven't earned a right. Nobody's paid to listen to them.
Yes.
But they have to have their say.
to.
But they don't look at their bank statement that says 0
Yeah.
or minus something. It's so sad.
I mean, bank statement aside, the reason we're physically there isn't to listen to you, buddy.
But the reason you're there is to learn skills to make money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So if that person in there was a billionaire, I'll listen to
Yeah.
him or
Yeah.
her.
No, that's fair.
You with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
But they failed in making commercially.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it just sucks so much time away. And like you're saying about the energy and the whole vibe, and they're like, yo, bro.
But
Like-
you know, honestly, this is why I came with like, I'm gonna not say anything, not think anything, zero expectation, and just absorb
So you didn't make
everything.
any jokes.
Okay, I could have made a lot more jokes.
But do you know, if you don't mind me sharing,
Sure.
we play team games, okay? Unfortunately, humor was used too much in your team.
Humor.
Humor, okay? And humor is a distraction, okay? So the way because you had those egos in your team, okay? So it needed you to get serious.
Yeah.
Because by you smiling, they felt it was okay to behave like idiots. Does that make sense? So that was your leadership opportunity. And then it was just laughing we lost. You with me?
Performed well though.
Oh, no,
But you lost. You still lost. But you still lost. And life, we said this, the margin of being successful is just a nose hair.
Yeah.
Right? So it hurts me when I see somebody with all the smartness, all the ability, all the intelligence, everything going for them, they just don't cross that line.
True.
They just just that inch.
Just that.
The
Yeah.
inch.
Do you agree?
Oh, I fully agree.
Yeah.
I fully agree about
Yeah.
this.
Absolutely.
They have
Things you were
everything.
saying in
'Cause
today's
we-
session, I was WhatsApping him last night. Very similar wording.
Yes.
Because we go through life saying we performed well,
Yeah.
but what is the end result?
Absolutely.
there's a but. You know.
Well,
it's the end
guys, I
result.
do think we have to wrap it up now.
Oh, we're just picking up on you.
Unfortunately-
I was enjoying throwing the drink at you.
But
Yes?
I did want to leave the last words with you guys.
Well, as he said nothing for the last half an hour because he's been thinking about that answer. Yes.
What was the unique?
What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, I hope everyone
Hang on
took.
hang on a second. You hope.
No.
You will.
Gladiators don't hope.
They do.
They make it happen.
Yeah.
So let's start again. And keep that
No.
edited.
No, that's not. That's going to be edited. Can you say the question again, please?
Yeah, I would just like to leave you guys with the last words before we wrap it up.
It's been an absolute honor hosting Gladiator Mastery in Bahrain, where we had 25 unbelievable people who wanted to change their life, wanted success, wanted more money, wanted more skills to learn on their career, their business, personal goals as well. And it was an honor to be in a room to give them the foundations to take on. And yeah, it was a fantastic, fun 2 days that I don't hope that that I'm confident that Gladiator Mastery will help so many people, and we can expand this throughout the region and Saudi Arabia as next stop.
Amazing. Dariush, anything?
Oh my god! I was like, no.
Okay.
Right, so start that question again
We're
with
still
him.
recording, by the way.
No, it's fine. Record. I don't mind. I think it wasn't an honor to be in that room with 25 people. It wasn't my honor. Okay, I'm serving, right? It's an honor to know that 2 or 3 people in that room made a big change in their lives. That's my honor. Okay, it breaks my heart to think it's a numbers game. Out of 30 people, 3 or 4 don't show up the next day because waking up in the morning is too much for them. 2 or 3 argue for no reason because they live in denial. It breaks my heart. Now, if everyone was like that small percentage of people who were prepared to make that change, take the risk, go through the pain of change, life would be a greater place. And our job is to serve, okay? And it's their honor to be in our presence and learn from our friggin' experience, from our heartache, years of heartache, hard work, experience, millions of dollars losses. And it's up to them to take responsibility of their lives, okay? So what I want us to do is to do this everywhere in the region and make sure we touch as many people as possible, because as the numbers grow, the percentage stays the same, unfortunately. But we're going to help a lot more people to have abundance in their lives. Would you agree?
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, no matter how much they pay us, we give them 10 times in return. But it's up to them to take up on that opportunity.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, guys. And
Yeah.
please, everyone, check out the Gladiator Mastery, whether you're in Dubai, Bahrain, Saudi soon, closest one once
We'll
a
put
month.
links in the
Descriptions.
description
Yeah.
bits.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I salute you. I salute you.